My name is Debbie, and while I'm proud to be where I am, I have to acknowledge that no good news comes without the iceberg of hardship that accompanies it, like this microphone. It's a bit breathtaking to be up here because my voice feels heard, and it means a lot since I didn't have a lot of that growing up. In my childhood, I had many dreams and goals. Sometimes they were my own, other times they were dreams my parents had for me. In many ways, I'm grateful for my upbringing. However, the lack of emotional support means I dealt with many things alone. Minimal vulnerability meant I didn't speak up for myself boldly. I worked hard in school, and the ultimate goal was college. I created a picture in my mind of what my life would look like, but as we all know, life doesn't always go as planned. I started my journey with higher ed at University of Nevada, Reno in August of 2015. I decided to pursue speech pathology and felt very passionate about it. We live in a time where young students may struggle with finding their own voice. Coronavirus changed the way we communicate, and with that, there has been a higher prevalence of speech disorders. Since more children are facing speech and language delay, it's important that we have representation in the field. For some, confidence is a skill acquired over time. And sometimes that spark of confidence for young ones stems from modeled behaviors of people who look just like them. I enjoyed my classes as time went by, yet I still had trouble speaking up for myself. In 2018, during my fall semester of my junior year of college, I became pregnant with my son. I was shocked, it felt surreal, and I had many conflicting emotions. I struggled with perinatal depression, a type of depression that occurs during pregnancy, which led me to drop out. Dropping out created such an instability in my life. My partner and I couch surfed and asked relatives for support, but we were running out of options. We were both hopeless, both of us in our 20s trying to figure out how to be an adult while preparing to be parents. It was exhausting. We were days from losing our housing, and all of our belongings were packed in the car. Our tire had blown out, and my partner was changing it when I received the call from VOA that there was a room for us at the shelter. It was one of those incredible moments of relief. Getting that call felt like a light in our lives, while everything else felt so dark and chaotic. I'll never forget meeting the wonderful staff at VOA. Denise and Gary, longtime workers at the shelter, welcomed me with such warmth. I remember the paintings I saw at the front desk that made me more comfortable at the stay. I saw in the video that the family shelter was up there. I remember taking the elevator all the way to the top and seeing all the pictures, and it felt so warm. And still, the transition from college student to mother without the financial footing to prepare for a child was difficult. It felt hard to conceivably imagine what a future for my family would look like. I can't describe how I felt when I watched my firstborn hit his developmental milestones while living at a shelter. It hit me full force that my son's first footsteps on his own would be in a place that wasn't the stability of my own home. If there's one thing I'd want someone to know about homelessness, it's that it's not only defined as individuals without a home. What it truly means is that a person does not have access to an environment to experience some of life's most cherished moments. Think back to when you learned how to ride a bike, had your first kiss, or brought your newborn home. And imagine having all of those moments in a whirlwind of uncertainty, in survival mode, not knowing the next step. There are many facets of hidden homelessness, such as staying in a motel, weekly lodge, living out of a car, which means there's a whole world of silent battles being fought. There are plenty of untold stories similar to mine, and others might never get the fighting chance to live to tell their story. In the depths of my depression, in the shelter, I never thought I'd make it past the age of 22. In the midst of my feeling of uncertainty, VOA gave my family another gift. In March of 2020, they told us we'd be moving into our own apartment. I was over the moon. It didn't matter that there was nothing inside of that apartment. It was the excitement of physically having my own key. We took our time putting that key in that door and turning it, and there was so much joy in that moment. It felt like I could muster up the confidence to continue to do bigger things. I knew I could continue to push through and keep going because I had VOA and people like all of you in my corner cheering me on. I'd like to announce in a couple days, I will be walking across the University of Nevada, Reno quadrangle at graduation. I'm getting my BS in speech pathology. I'm the first in my family to finish college, and for that I thank my parents for believing that I could. I took my last final today, going a little off the script. I took my very last final today, and I remember just bursting out in tears and trying to figure out why I was feeling that way. And then it hit me. I had heard a quote a little earlier that we may be stuck in the future. We may think about what's next. You know, what's next for us? When are we having our next kid? When's retirement? You know, we all think of our next, but we get so caught up in that we may forget that we have already had a lot of things that we've already prayed for. And so I reflected on that, and a lot of the things that I prayed for 2 years ago, you know, a healthy family, a house over our heads, you know, a house full of love. And I have that, and I'm grateful for it. So thank you. So to go from unhoused to degree holder, that is a big thing. And that comes with a lot of prayers and a lot of dreams, and takes a lot of hard work to get there. It's been no easy feat juggling school, motherhood, and being the breadwinner at points of my life. In truth, I have had and have too much on my plate. There's a lot of animal crackers, you know, on there. But when you feel like you have too much on your plate, get more plates. I could not succeed without your generosity, the love from my community, and VOA's help in many facets of my life. Yes, I'm a soon-to-be college graduate, but more importantly, I'm a proud mama of 2 boys. My oldest son is starting preschool this year. He said, "Mommy, I'm gonna finish pre-K because Mommy finished." Words cannot begin to express the confidence I've gained while working with VOA, and to reflect on the tremendous growth I've experienced. I remember that quiet girl that first walked into the family shelter unable to fight for herself. I'd like to reassure her that God's timing worked out again. You know the saying, if you give a man a fish. Well, VOA didn't just give me a fish, they taught me how to fish. And those invaluable lessons will continue for a lifetime. And it's all thanks to the gratitude of the generous donors that have given to VOA, because it generally would not have been possible for me to escape the cycle of instability and poverty. I'm here because the community believes in me. A special shout out to Constance for her kindness and patience. She's over there. She deserves a round of applause. Yep. She manages our family's case and has become an understanding confidant throughout the process. My kids know her as a present fairy because of the presents they've gotten from VOA. Well, my partner and I started our journey young and confused. We have celebrated 5 years together and continue to grow. If we weathered the depths of homelessness, we can only imagine what our lives would be like as we continue upward. I have this drive, this relentless pursuit of knowledge, dedication, and hunger to succeed, to provide better opportunities for my kids. I can provide shelter from the storm for my kids because VOA provided that opportunity to me. Thank you all for listening to my story, and God bless you.